crying Jehovah.
What's up, YouTube? How you doing? How you doing? First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for the love and support. Thank y'all for commenting on my videos, sharing my videos, liking my video, even disliking, or even disagreeing with me. I thank y'all for that so much. Thank y'all for that, man. I thank y'all for subscribing to my channel, man. I appreciate that humbly. And one more thing, a lot of people complain about my backdrop, talking about why I got the gun holding up like this. Number one, City of God is one of my favorite movies. I love the movie, and I just love this depiction right here, man. I just love it. I ain't gonna lie, it just captures something for me. That's something for me because I'm a gun fanatic. I love guns, you know what I mean? I grew up with guns, you know what I'm saying? I own firearms, so that's one of my things, you know what I mean? So I love anything that depicts guns, and I got another backdrop that I'm gonna use in a couple of months that y'all might not like. Well, I like it because it's a, I'll tell y'all later. Y'all see it later. But it's a black man putting a gun to a white man here. So I like stuff like that. I'm sorry. That's just the type of mind I got. And I love stuff like that. And I'm sorry that some people might feel offended by this. But it's a reason why I like this. You know what I mean? So y'all just calm down. Now, the video I'm about to play after this is about Afrika Bambaataa. You know, and we all know Afrika Bambaataa passed away. And what we did was we kind of pissed on him a little bit. You know, we did. We told the truth about his life. And he's a tether also. He's not one of us. He's not a black American. So in this live right here that you're about to listen to, it's a lot of trigger words up in here. It's a lot of trauma, slight trauma, things that young boys go through, like young boys that be touched on or being essayed or being R-worded. And we mentioned women that have been essayed and R-worded, okay? So I just want to give a warning to my people that if you have been through a traumatic childhood as a man or as a woman, or if you're currently going through something traumatic right now, I just want to pre-warn y'all that it might get a little dicey with this subject matter. But I think we give some great information. I think I gave some good game. There's gonna be a few funny moments in this live, but for the most part, it's all seriousness, you know. And I do take people that has been how can I say essayed, molested, R-worded, coerced, if I hope I said it right, manipulated, what else I could say, what's the other, it's another word too, y'all. I'm having a brain freeze. See, y'all always put the words in my mind, but y'all know the word I'm talking about. But it's a word called what's the word, what you call when somebody groomed? Yeah, I'm sorry. Or you been groomed. You know what I'm saying? Anybody been groomed, man? I hope the advice y'all hear in this video will give y'all some hope. And my thoughts and prayers with anyone that has been through any tragic situation as a child or even as an adult. So my thoughts and prayers are with you. I just want to give y'all that trigger warning when y'all listen to this live I did on TikTok. I think y'all will enjoy it. It's pretty long. I might do a part 2, or I might just put the whole thing out there, man. I might just do the whole thing and let y'all choose if y'all want to listen to the whole thing. But I think y'all gonna like the conversation, and I think y'all gonna like the discernment and the intuition and the foresight that we see in this, and how we, although we do protect young girls, but boys also are left behind in being sexually assaulted. But without further ado, salute to y'all, and I love you. Peace out.
I noticed it the other day. I said, okay, I
You
like
rocked
that.
it. I see that.
Yeah, I like
Oh, thank you.
But,
I'm trying to lose some weight, but go ahead, Ken B. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You good. I agree with everything you just said. It would behoove people to move strategic, because unless they don't care about it, backfiring. So you giving good game to the guys. But the reason I said my heart was pounding, because this Bambaataa situation, I really respect, Brian. I respect you a lot. And I respect that you are doing this panel, because a lot of people don't realize how detrimental Bambaataa was to the movement in terms of his child predatory practices. He can almost be considered one of the greatest predators in hip hop, and specifically against boys, because that was his preference. Early on, I worked with 2 gentlemen that came out against him. One being Hassan Campbell, who I don't know if you know who Hassan Campbell is, but before he became an internet sensation, he just came out and he told his story. Hassan is a very manly man. He's a very dominant man. And even if he does have some questionable sexuality, he's still a man. And I don't believe that a man is going to come out and say he S'd another man's D and that did not happen. Right. So with all of that said, I did a campaign because I'm from New York. So there was a movement in New York back in maybe 2017, 2018 against Bambaataa, calling him out, calling him to the carpet. Sonetta and others with the quote unquote new black media called him to the carpet and they wanted to have a conversation with him about these accusations that this guy, Ronald Savage and Hassan brought against Bambaataa. Bambaataa never came to talk to the black people. He went to Lisa Evers, who's his fake best friend back in the days. He went to Fox. He sat down. He said these accusations weren't true. But if anybody was to start digging into this story, this man has probably molested thousands of men, young boys across the world, right? So said all that to say that Ronald Savage, there was an act that was put in effect about maybe 5 or 6 years ago that opened up. It's the act that allowed Cassie to sue Diddy. It opened up. It was like a children's act that allowed people to go back into the past and bring out, their accusers, sue their accusers. Because remember, there's a statute of limitation that got lifted. Ronald Savage had a lot to do with that because he worked with the New York legislation because he accused Bambaataa of, arresting him. Now he's saying something different, but Hassan has never changed his tune. So I appreciate, because I had a very close connection to this. I tried to get Columbia to take Bambaataa's catalog out of their library. Or was it Columbia or Cornell? I think it was Cornell. He has a whole library at Cornell, but because people don't care about young black boys, and that's what I learned in that time, and this is not to say anything. Listen, young girls deserve protection. I'm a woman. We deserve protection. But people don't care about the young black boys that cry out about what has happened to them. And I saw that in real time with this Bambaataa case. And I'll land there.
Hold on, Ken B, before you land. So with that case with the Ronald Savage story, the reason why he kind of recanted, was that because of the money? Did he get some money off of it or something?
He probably got some money, and he is also, between him and Hassan, and this is no disrespect, they call himself Bee Stinger, he is the weaker vessel in the situation. You can see he is a very broken man behind what happened. There was also a lot of pressure from, I guess, the Zulu people that he was still around. And he's not as like someone like yourself or like Hassan, he's not an independent thinker where he could stand on his own. So he snapped under whatever pressure came as a result. Because let me tell you something, people don't realize how powerful Bambaataa was. It was just a secret underground thing. Because I'll share one more thing with you. Bambaataa was feeding, I guess I have to say allegedly, Bambaataa was feeding boys to older YT men in Studio 54. That's how far he goes back. He was feeding young boys from the hood, very poor ghetto boys from the hood, into Studio 54 to older white men. So he had a lot of pull and a lot of power. Certain people, like Hassan, didn't care. But I think Ronald Savage, I think he broke under that pressure. He even posted up. Now, it's funny, I posted up something saying good riddance to this guy, and Hassan is really the only one who liked what I said. But Ronald Savage said rest in paradise to him. And I went under, I said, come on now, but whatever. He's dealing with his trauma the way he's dealing with it.
Yeah. Everybody dealing with trauma the best way they can, and people like, even though, Hassan he can go left sometimes, just in general and period. But you could tell that kind of affected him, because I remember when he first broke it, what happened I'm talking when Hassan first started on YouTube about 10 years ago.
Yes.
And, and when he kind of, maybe a little longer than that, but I'm going to say 10, when he really just started talking about Afrika Bambaataa. And I remember like how a lot of people used to clown him. A lot of people, call Hassan Campbell gay, all types of derogatory words about him. But, for me personally, there are a lot of men that have been molested. A lot of boys that's grown to be men right now that has been molested. And I can tell, what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure people that worked in CPS or, did things like that. But certain dudes that I have come across in my real life, I can tell that something traumatic has happened to them. Regardless, they act thuggish, cool, chill, laid back, gay, whatever. It's just certain type of characteristics that they carry. And for the heterosexual man that has been touched on, they bottle that on the inside. You know what I'm saying? They carry that burden for so long that they don't know how to release it. So that's why you see a lot of cats snap out. You see a lot of cats do certain weirdo things, say weirdo things. And then because they don't know how to express themselves, because society, especially in male society, we used to frown up upon that, including myself. We used to frown upon, oh, you got touched, that means you gay. Ignorance. You know what I'm saying? I was once ignorant, to situations like that. Like, I used to think, little girls need to be protected. Little girls get touched on, I should have compassion for that. But Ken B, you made a great point there. Young boys do not get taken serious. Young boys, nobody don't care how young boys feel. It took me from like 2009 for me to change my perspective on men that have, young boys to men that have been abused or sexually assaulted, because it's a lot of men that have, men can act like, they can hide it, but certain characteristics that y'all niggas have, I can see it. And some of our brothers do need to talk to a therapist about that. It's okay to get help, man. You know what I'm saying? Because as a man, you don't want to talk to nobody about that. That's why I salute Hassan Campbell for being open and talk about his essay abuse. Even though he was in, and this is, I'm gonna land on this right here. I heard a lot of people say, well, he was 15 to 16 years old during the time. How old was Hassan, Ken?
Yeah, he was about that age.
14 to 16.
Between 14 to 16.
Okay. Mm-hmm. People say he was between 14 to 16 years of age. People like myself, I know better. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents taught me not, if somebody touched me in my no place, tell them. So that's something I always knew. So I knew I wasn't about to let nobody touch on me at 14, between the ages of 14 and 16 years old, without me fighting back, telling someone, or me dying and going to jail, because I don't think I was just going to take it like that. But we got to also keep in mind that there are circumstances where we do see young men that's between the ages of 14 and 16, or 14 and 18, or whatever age in the teenage years, that they are acceptable to that, to be influenced, to be pressured. They might, they might have a liking to somebody, because, there's a lot of dudes that have some sorry daddies or not daddies in their life. They might look at this person as a father figure. And people can't be brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? There are some dudes out here that has been brainwashed because they want to follow this person. So, I just want to just land on that right there. Ken, you got something you want to say? Oh,
because you, Brian, you are brilliant. You are brilliant. I'm telling you, you're brilliant. You have what we call like intuitive brilliance, where you're picking up on things even if you don't fully have all of the context. So you're 100% right. At 14, 15, 16, we know to be like, hey, don't do that to me or whatever, and get out of that space. And there was a gentleman, and may he rest in peace. He passed away. He had a heart attack, but he was a gentleman who came out in support of Hassan. And what he said is that he also was, in that apartment, and he went to the bathroom one day, and he's there, using the bathroom, like, urinating, and Bambaataa comes in the bathroom, and he stands a little bit too close, and he checked Bambaataa. And he said he always used to carry a little poke on him, right? So he checked Bambaataa. He said, I was ready to like poke him. He said, so he never, I felt where he was coming from, but he never tried because he knew that he couldn't. But one of the tactics that they used, that Bambaataa and his crew used, was they kept photo albums. And they kept like 5 different photo albums full of pictures of Hassan's friends from the community, from ages ranging from 10 to 16, of them naked. I don't know what we can say, but NAKEED. And so he would show these albums to these boys. And then Hassan's mind was, well, if my friends is doing this, then maybe it's not wrong, because you also have to think in those ages, you're still figuring out your actuality, right? So he was like, okay, well, maybe it's okay, because I don't know, I'm seeing all my friends who I would never think in these photo albums. So he was a predator, and he was preying on children, and he was manipulating, and he was brainwashing children. And I don't know if y'all remember the story where he got poked up in Brazil because he tried that on some young
Yeah,
women.
I heard that. I heard about that.
Yeah.
I kind of slipped my mind thinking. Now I thought it was in Africa, but it was in Brazil.
In Brazil. Well, Africa was also a playground for him. And one of his tactic was going into very poor communities. Because if anybody knows anything about that community that he was in the Bronx, I can't think of the name of it right now. These were very, very, very either poor kids or kids who did not have a man in the house or around the house. And Bambaataa would do things like buying them new sneakers or, getting them school clothes. And the mothers, unfortunately, is thinking like, oh, he's known for bringing the music and the community and starting the hip hop. So he's just doing stuff for the young men, for the young boys, giving them somewhere to go to break dance and all of that. No, that was all a cover for his real Epstein type lifestyle. And so there was a part of Hassan where he actually loved this man. So it's a sick kind of twisted story. And I can see how people have, said like, well, why would you let that? And why? I get the questions, but I also was at the very first press conference that Hassan did. And I watched this very strong grown man talk about his experience as a 14-year-old boy essing a man's D. And I'm sorry, I was very inclined to believe, because I know men and I know black men. And I was very close to my father, who was a black man. Ain't no strong black man coming out and saying that he got on his knees for no man, and he didn't. What's the incentive?
Exactly. And that's why I used to tell people too, like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Fadi. Go ahead, Fadi.
No, I was just going to say what something you said earlier, Brian, too. You still got to, even if, the whole thing of they should fight back, you still got to give them some grace, because it's a difference between a grown man's strength and a teenager's or a boy's strength. It's not the same. And, for some of them, these are people who they trusted. Like I've seen people say in the comments, grooming, 100% grooming. These are people who they trusted. These are people who they looked at as somebody that they look up to, they respect, somebody that they thought was, their family or helping them, just for them to turn around and do something to them that's just totally, a total violation on them as a person. So I give grace, because it's not saying who's to say they didn't fight back, and for the ones who didn't, who's to say if they felt like they couldn't fight back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can I just say too?
Hold on, I got you, Candace. I'm sorry. I just want to correct you. I was talking about me. I wasn't talking about nobody else. And I understand when people are sexually. I'm gonna use trigger words. I'm sorry, because I want this to be known. But I understand people that has been raped or sexually assaulted, how they can't fight back. I totally understand that. You get what I'm saying, Fadi? So I was speaking for myself when I was saying I was taught, if you touch me in a no spot, to tell someone, fight back, they gonna go to jail or I'm gonna die trying. My mom and daddy always tell me, like, if something do happen, you might well not come back, because you might well unalive yourself, basically. But I also understand that our people fear grown man strength. I understand all that. I totally do. So yes, I 100% do agree. And let me correct everyone that's listening. Everybody's not a fighter. And I'm gonna say this too about domestic violence right quick. Even with domestic violence, I'm gonna use women for example, trigger warning for women. That's why I always understand when women be in these situations, because everybody be like, well, why don't you just leave him? Why don't you just pack up and go when he gone? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? It don't work like that. Fear is a motherfucker. Doubt what's gonna happen afterwards is a motherfucker. And I don't think people take look into that. I don't think they think about things like that, how fear can really hinder a person from moving on. Or love can hinder a person from moving on. You know what I'm saying? Or being financially enslaved to a person, meaning I'm getting my ass kicked over here, but I ain't got no motherfucking money. So what I'm gonna do with these kids? So that's why I always give grace to, most definitely, to women that they got I'm about to say get their ass kicked, but being in domestic violence situations where they can't leave. And that's why I always tell people, like, man, you can't expect a motherfucker to go. You don't know if this motherfucker's scared. We just don't know. Eventually, they gonna have the strength to leave a situation like that. You know what I'm saying? It's so much that we can do. It's so much I can do. I had a cousin that was in a situation like that. We did all we could to stop the situation of her getting her ass kicked by her dude. We did. My uncle whooped that nigga ass. Her brother whooped that nigga ass. Even I tried to whoop that nigga ass. He whooped me. Now I'm the only one got my ass kicked out of the 3 that whooped the nigga, but I still tried to fight the nigga. But my cousin, she still stayed with the nigga until my cousin got tired of them when she decided to leave. And guess what? When she left, we welcomed her with open arms. We made sure her kids were straight. We made sure we had money for her. We made sure her bills were straight. We made sure she had an apartment. Okay, because we never disrespected her when she was going through that. Because a lot of times we get so frustrated when somebody just keep coming to you crying, like, I don't know what to do, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and we push them to the side. So I always give grace to anybody, including men, because there's some gay men that getting their ass kicked out here too. I got a gay cousin. He a transgender. He getting his ass kicked right now as we speak. And I tell him, like, dog, you can fight. Shit, you can fight too. Fight that nigga back. Stop letting that short motherfucker whoop your ass, man. Shit, you making it look bad. Go ahead, Candace.
No, I was going to say on the grooming thing that sometimes it's people of authority, coaches, all types of people of respect that and it's not overnight. It's like a slow burn and a slow roll that they do on these kids. And remember, the children's minds, frontal lobes aren't developed until you're around 21 years old. So all you really have, we are our kids' frontal lobe. So if you have parents and people in your family telling you, hey, on the lookout for that, that's what'll happen when situations come up. But sometimes you don't have that. You have, you know what I'm saying, like a broken home, or you've had people who should have been trustworthy also violate that too. So you're trying to like figure it out. And these predators know that. They can tell when someone doesn't have that. So they will like kind of prey on the weak in that capacity. But you know, once they get to 21, they'll have their own, that voice won't be mom's voice saying, hey, don't do that. It'll be their own. But up until that point, they are susceptible to it. And it can happen like right overnight. Over like 3-4 months. It doesn't even have to happen tomorrow, depending on the person, right? Just it could take a year, you know, for some of these people to really groom and get you to be trustworthy on it. But that's all. I'll land there.
Okay, I'm gonna build off what you just said, and I'm gonna ask Ken B this. Ken B, is it? And I know you're from New York, and I don't want you to take any.
No, I don't take anything offensive.
Okay, all right. It's just on the Pan-African side. It's a lot of Pan-Africans, not just. I'm just not gonna use New York, but it's a lot of Pan-Africans, right? That's like Bambaataa that do groom young kids, right? And reason why I say this because there are a lot of Pan-Africans that meet women with children. You know, some women probably in abusive relationships, or they, you know, just going through something. And some of these hold on. I know outside of Pan-Africanism, y'all, that there are men that do this too. Okay, so let me first put that out there. Go, well, you know, yeah, there are men that do that shit too. But reason why I'm using Pan-Africanism is because these men come out in front of us like they just these upstanding guys, you know, black community, black first. We should love everyone. The black woman this, the black woman that. But it's a lot of these Pan-African men that prey on women with children. Have you seen that in New York City? Like situations like that with Pan-Africans that kind of like Bambaataa that do boys and girls?
You know what? I'll say this, and this is for me. Back in them days, that Pan-African, like, although we all had a kind of one flat blacklist, let me say that we had an idea, we all had that ideology, but being heavy rooted in that Pan-African stuff, a lot of us looked at that as like broke activities, if that makes any sense to you. Because the people that was getting money in New York in the 80s and the 90s, they was walking around with the big gold chains. They was going up to Dapper Dan getting clothes. They was driving around in them crazy cars. It was always some broke dusty who was wearing them remember them little rope neck things with the green, the black thing on their neck? It was, and the girls that actually, you know, was looking to be chose, they wasn't looking at them because they was dusty. They didn't have the fly gear. And you know, the 80s and the 90s for Black America was some of our flyest times. Yes. Especially in like Harlem and Brooklyn. Harlem had it, but you know, Brooklyn had it too. Queens had it. You got to think of LL back in that time.
Oh
You know,
yes. Oh
the
yes. Keep
jingling
going.
baby and the door knockers and
Keep
all that.
going.
So the Pan-Africans wasn't in or around that at all because they couldn't keep up with none of that. You know, they were over there talking that Hotep stuff. So we used to call them
Mm-hmm.
Dusty Hoteps.
Dusty Hotep niggas.
Yeah.
Ken, when you land that plane, I got
Yeah.
something on that, but keep going, baby.
So to your point, I wasn't really around none of them because I really wasn't around no dust buckets like that. But I will say that, yeah, I would assume that they used that Pan-African stuff to prey on women because they didn't have nothing else. You know, they would use the movement and the blackness and the oneness and love my people because they ain't had no money. They ain't had nothing else to get a woman with. That would be my impression. And you can go down the list of Pan-Africans from New York and they were just dusty. They come up here talking and acting dusty.
You ain't lying, Ken. And I always said this, Ken, about Pan-Africans. It's so funny you took the words out of my mouth. I've been saying this for years and decades that every Pan-African I know is dusty as hell. They shoes be leaning. They was like, just like you said, the hustlers, the ballers, the D-boys, or
None
the people
of them
that
Pan-African. No hustler was Pan-African.
exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Even just how they dress, you know, even just let me not even use the hustlers, the street hustlers, just the average Black American, how they dress, how they groom themselves. When I look at a Pan-African, I'm like, either they musty, they shoes leaning, they don't groom themselves correctly, they don't have no money, because that's how I looked at it too. I always looked at it like this. Every adult that I seen growing up, I looked at how they presented themselves to me. If you present yourself in a dusty way, I'm not going to take you serious, especially if you're trying to tell me what I need to do as a Black boy or as a Black man, because as a Black man, you don't represent that for me. I'd rather listen to a dope fiend because at least I know why this person, what happened to this person. But you, as not a dope fiend, you look like a dope fiend. And that's why I could never take them serious. And that's why I always said Pan-Africans, that Pan-African shit didn't work. Now I'm going to land on this. I used to be in Forest Hills, Ken. I used to be in Forest Hills back in the day. So when I used to go be out there in Forest Hills, out there in New York and shit, I used to see everything. I used to be in Harlem. I'm talking about back when I was in high school, just a country nigga out there because my auntie stayed out there, right? Man, I'm going to tell you something. I picked up a lot of game and I saw those Pan-African dudes standing on the corner talking, woo-de-woo, woo-de-woo. But that dude in that Beamer or that dude that was coming out the fashion store with that Gucci, I didn't know what Gucci was till I went up there. I said, damn, these niggas fly. You know what I'm saying? That's why I used to mimic myself growing up, how New York niggas dress. But I never pay attention to no Pan-African nigga. There's nothing them niggas can say to me or nothing. You can't tell me how to get no money. Why I'm gonna listen to you for? I'm gonna mute up. It's on y'all. It's open panel, y'all.
No, you're right. And nobody really did. They would go after young kids and, like you said, single mothers. But they was never, I mean, they might have known the guys that was cool and everybody wanted to be around. They might have known them, but they didn't. The dudes that everybody wanted to be like, and not just street hustlers, just the people that was out there getting it.
Yeah, the fly niggas, the ball playing niggas.
I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody in New York was running around. They was like their own little cult, just like they are now. You know what I mean? That Zulu Nation stuff.
They all on 125th Street, dog.
Yeah.
Right, they be trying to sell you oils and shit.
Yeah. So Petty probably could speak to it. Petty could probably speak to it too.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, brother. Knick-knack, paddywhack.
Starbound. I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't really give a shit who's checking for me, who's not checking for me. I mean, I see what I look like too. So I don't get your point.
Ken, don't fall for it.
Yeah,
they tell me I look like their African cousin all the time. I done told every last one of them that said I look like their African cousins. Send me a picture.
Don't.
Let me see my African twin, and they never send a picture. I have yet to find my African twin.
Let me see. Let me pull your. Let me pull your. Let me see what you looking like.
And my son said they ain't talking about nothing anyway.
Yeah, the Pan-Africans are the brokest dudes I ever seen in my life, dog.
You got a picture of his dusty muscles.
I'd have been around them
Look
dudes.
at Umar.
I'm
Yeah, I done
trying
been
to do
around them
a green
dudes.
screen. I was trying not to show myself, so I'm still in my nightgown. But I'm trying to do a green screen because I want to show y'all the campaign I was running in 2016.
Press the little thingy.
Okay, good, Starbound. You look better than me. That's good. I'm glad. You better than me. Hold on, Fadi. You better than me. You richer than me. You more African than me. You got a better life than me. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Move the fuck on. So anyway, back to you, Fadi. And I'm old. I'm all of
Hey,
this.
mute him out,
Yeah,
out the
go
live
ahead.
Friday,
Oh,
okay?
I'm a grandma. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Y'all a bunch of broke ass nothings. You on here talking to me. Like I ain't, you're touching 50, 60. I'm 50 to be exact. Yeah, I'm 50.
Yeah, because their life expectancy is only 35. So, so that's old to them. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm sorry, Nikki. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I'm sorry. Nikki said don't curse.
What up, Nikki? What's
I
up,
wouldn't
Okay.
Nikki?
even. I
I'm
wouldn't
trying to
even
do
care
a
about them dusty Jesus sandal wearing dudes. You know what I mean?
they was
They got
dusty.
everything to say. They wearing a bunch of Jesus sandals and dashikis and
Yeah, I look 72. That's
wearing
good.
all this shea butter and stuff. Like I said,
Mhm.
I ain't gonna lie. I like the oils though, but I ain't gonna be out there selling that shit. But I like them, but I ain't gonna sell it myself. I don't think that's no real money. But
What about them
I
incense
mean,
then, Teddy? Hey, what about the incense they were saying, Petty? They got some good incense too, now.
they got some good
That's their
incense,
best-selling
dog. They
product.
do.
That's it.
I ain't gonna lie about that. But
That's something. I hit these Pan-African souls when I told the truth of how broke they was. They is mad, mad, mad. Y'all broke. Ain't nobody checking for y'all.
yeah, they just sitting on the corner selling oils and incense and CDs all day, and you know what I mean. That's not no real money. It's just not. And like I said, I done been around these dudes. You know what I mean? They, like I said, wearing Jesus sandals every day with a dashiki shirt. You know what I mean? This is what it is. I've never seen a very successful Pan-African. I've never seen it in my life.
Me either. And,
and
Petty. And guess what, Petty? The only successful ones, and I'm gonna say this too, Petty. You just reminded me. I'm gonna let you continue because I know you've been waiting for a second. And I say this all the time too. I know people get tired of me saying this, but Pan-Africans done scammed us so much that they the reason why a lot of Black Americans scared to work with other Black Americans when it come to money or when it come to donating, when it come to saying like, hey, if I come, I'll be like, hey y'all, I got some nigga babies out here that need some food, need some shoes. Everybody gonna be like, Brian, I ain't doing that. You gonna scam? What you gonna do with the money? You know what I'm saying? Because back in the day, because I'm 43 years old, so I remember back in the day when people used to give these people money. It wasn't called Pan-African back in Mississippi, but it was called like Black Consciousnesses and all the other shit. But it's all the same in a way. But I remember when people used to come to the neighborhood, be like, hey, y'all donate this amount of money. We're going to try to do this for the kids or whatever, woo, 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 woo. Or I'm trying to build a building, woo, 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 woo. And we used to give them money all the time. The next thing you know, they never produced what they said they was going to do. You get what I'm saying? And I think a lot of Pan-Africans done stained a lot of Black folks. But keep going, Pete. My bad, brother.
Nah, you speaking. That's a real talk, dog. They have stained anything of Black folks working together because they done scammed us with so many bootleg DVDs. Fake selling fake Gucci on the corner.
Yep, brother Polite. Don't forget about Polite. Somebody mentioned Polite too.
You
Fake ass handbags.
If you can put me on the,
you know
if you
what I
don't
mean?
mind, Brian, if you put me on the big screen, I can show you this campaign I was doing in 2016
All right.
against Bambaataa. So you guys can see that there, right? Let me pull this up. You guys can see that. That's the guy, Robert Savage. That's the guy, Robert Savage. And that's the guy who has now, he's came out and he's kind of recanted. I blacked my name out because, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
But these Pan-African, they won't come in and they won't talk about this. They'll come in and try to insult a woman and come at a woman who will probably run a circle around them in real life, but they won't come and talk about this. This was my campaign in 2016 to the New York State, and I've spelled that wrong, Attorneys General, to do an investigation into these accusations against Bambaataa. And I was just trying to get signatures, and I was coming at people about why, if you stand with these people, why y'all not signing this campaign? And don't talk if you're not going to support, because ultimately this is about young Black boys for me.
Yeah, facts.
This is about how we cry out. Remember when the Catholic Church thing broke and how, because of who that was, which was the young YT boys, that blew off the lid. But when it came to our boys, it literally, Thank you, Black Love. It literally got ignored.
Facts.
Right? And I pushed a few. Oh, thank you. I did have my facial yesterday, Bob. I pushed a few campaigns at one time, and one was also against Cornell, and then this was one. So when y'all see me up here advocating for people and advocating for our people, I didn't start this on TikTok. I'm not doing this for TikTok. I'm doing this because alongside my actual real life, my goal is to use my resources to help our people any way that I can. Right. And so this was what this is. And look at this man. You see, that's a broken man.
Yeah, that's a broken man. I've seen a lot of broken men in my life. I'm gonna take you off the screen because you got the P word on there.
Okay, you good.
And I don't want no men to be
and I'm gonna change it.
Be salivating over either. Can be. They gonna be salivating over. But hey, hold on 1 second, Petty. Hold on 1 second, Petty. Hey, shout out to everyone in the comment section, man. I see y'all. I'm just at 27.5K likes. Can I get at least 35, man? I'm a penny pinching, acting like a Pan-African broke nigga, man. That's all I want, man. Just make sure y'all get me up to 35K for me. Get up to 35K. If y'all can help me with my gift goal also, can we get the gummy bears flowing and going? And make sure y'all give the people on my panel for me. Please give the people on my panel. I don't know why I'm sitting like a square. But yeah, please give the people on my panel for me. Shout out to Fadi, Candace, Ken, Petty Pendergrass, let me see who this is. The Business Bully and King James II. Shout out to everyone on the panel, man. Thank y'all so much. Teddy, go on break it down, then I'm gonna let shit, man. I gotta get the Business Bully. Shout out to the Business Bully.
What's up, Business Bully?
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, shout out to the Business Bully. I'm gonna let Petty. Yeah, go ahead, Petty. Gonna land your plane for. I know I done cut you off 100 times, man. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good, bro. I got a homeboy. You know, he from Connecticut and stuff, and he used to be out there in New York, and he was a part of the Zulu Nation. You know, at that, you know, back then, and you know, he told me some crazy stuff. You know, he told me, you know, he used to hang. You know, he was hanging out with Bambaataa and them, and they always had weird scenarios, bro. You know, basically, you know, rainbow type situations. You know, so you know, he said it was one time he came up in one of the rooms in the building, and he said these Zulu dudes in there with Afrika Bambaataa watching rainbow, you know, movies. And then there's a bunch of Zulu Nation dudes sitting in this room with Afrika Bambaataa watching rainbow movies with men.
Damn. You know? What was the Zulu dudes, Ken and Petty, when they just getting out of the penitentiary? When them niggas getting out of the penitentiary, some of them dudes was. I heard someone because they said Bambaataa was taking someone from Rikers Island.
Yeah, a lot of them dudes is ex-cons.
Yeah, ex-cons.
You know,
yeah.
But the rainbow rumors have always been around, and one of my, like I said, my homeboy, he been around there to see that they be doing little weird stuff. You know, he'll find sometimes these dudes in there watching Rainbow Men. You know, these dudes in there. You know, sometimes, you know, I think he said one time. He said he walked in his room and Afrika Bambaataa in there, you know, choking his chicken, watching some rainbow stuff, and asked, "Hey, you want to join in?" He was like, "Nah, I'm good, dog." You know, but,
all right, let's pause right there. Them Zulus, some freak dudes.
Yeah, man, those some weird freak dudes, and also Bambaataa was cool with that dude, Dr. York, as well. You know,
yeah, I talked about him too.
To each other.
Yeah, I talked about him too. Yeah, so some of these Pan-African, so they use Pan-Africanism to get the little kids, I see, or do be LGBT.
Yes, because Bambaataa was LGBT, and if he had just lived that truth, okay, that's fine, but it crossed the line. Because his interest, you know what I mean, with the little boys. But if you think about him and you think about his entire career, you've never heard of, seen nothing about no woman. You know,
he was always burning a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, you know, that was his. Okay, hold that thought for me, Petty. Hold that thought for me, Petty, because you dropped too much fire, man. You got me. Yeah, we're gonna take a woo side, man.
He was an African queen. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, he was. He was taking Boochie Cat, watching Boochie Cat films with other men. What's going
Yes,
on, the
yes.
business bully? How you doing, brother? How you doing?
Man, I can't kill it and it won't die, huh?
There you
Except
go.
for
There you go.
African Bambaataa. I'm gonna
Talk
say
to me.
this. I'm gonna
Oh,
say
thank
this.
y'all for the gift.
First of all, peace to the panel. What's up, everybody? Hope all is well. The first thing I want to say is the Pan Africans, the Pan Goofies, make absolutely no sense in any stretch of human endeavor, specifically when it comes to their condoning of PDF file activita. Like, because we don't play that. Like, I'm a foundational Black American. If we knew somebody was doing something like that to somebody on the block, they mysteriously disappear or get got. That's just how that goes. But they will find some type of justification. Oh, it's symbolic and it's traditional, and you niggas don't understand. No, I don't, and I don't want to understand. Like, I'm Mario Winans when it comes. I don't want to know. If you touching Bucci, yeah, I mean, you keep that over there. The second thing is, I think that the one thing we can't outrun is Father Time, and your time going to be up whenever it's going to be up. But at what point do we start delineating for real? Because the only people who have a problem with delineation is all the tethers, all the pan goofies, all the we are the world, we're one nation under a groove. Nah, 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 nah. What you ain't going to do is come over here and think that because you like to clap little boy booty cheeks, or you're some type of hyper masculine former felon that does not understand the nuance, the context, and the wonderfulness that is the Kudaruda, that you want to try and push that lifestyle up on other people. Like, I'm just in the hell no category when it comes to that, good brother. Uh, but I land on these pan goofies need to be ostracized, called out, and shamed. And until we shame them, we're going to continue to have the same problems that we have. And that's it. I'll land.
God damn. God damn. The business bully. God damn.
I feel like not enough people are shaming him. So I see so many tributes and stuff to this motherfucker.
Yeah, they gonna be
You know what I'm
trip.
saying?
They gonna be doing, but we gotta look at it like this too, though, y'all. Just like Ken B said earlier, man. A lot of people don't care when this young boy is being touched on. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna say this: if you're a grown person and you like Boochie Cat, I ain't knocking you if you like Boochie Cat. I ain't tripping. I might not be into Boochie Cat, but if you are into Boochie Cat, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you like a Boochie Cat tickled and played with, that's
Live
on
your
you,
truth.
man. Live your truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? I got some cousins that love the Boochie. You know what I'm saying? They like they Boochie play with all this shit, you know. And my cousin
Oh
house
my
stink.
God.
You know what I'm saying? His house stink.
Stop.
Every house he had stink had a smell to it. Am I
Oh my
lying?
God.
Hold
That's why
on.
they have all the incense. Yeah,
That's why they got the incense in it. My
that's what it's
cousin, man,
for.
I used to go in my cousin's house, bro. And listen, man, I love my cousin to death. I know he watching this shit because he fuck with me though. He ain't no insecure Boochie Cat taker or giver. You know what I'm saying? But my cousin, man, house used to smell like Boochie every time. Like, it have like this up in there. He'll have some of this up in his house now. You know what I mean? He'll have like a wallflowers up in there. But it
He
always have
knew.
a mix of Boochie Cat. So hold on. So I said maybe I'm tripping. My old lady, people was on that side of the game. His house smelled like my cousin. I said, damn. So does Bucci particles linger for a long time with
Particles?
It's
maybe
a
I'm
distinct
crazy. Am I
pungent
crazy?
smell.
No,
It's
I
not.
think
It's
Gucci
a
just
smell.
stink. It just
Is it
stink. It just stink.
a
It,
distinctive smell? Okay,
but it
interesting.
Smell like
lingers though
booty.
for days though. Is that? And
Oh,
listen, anybody that's part of the community, I'm not having anything against y'all. You know.
Brother, they playing with doo doo, brother. It's doo
But
No,
does
doo.
it
it can
supposed to
ass.
linger
Is
for
there a different
days though?
smell
Brother.
when they're
Yeah.
well,
doing
it's
it?
fecal matter, so it
It can
might.
smell like
No, the
ass, right?
house
What?
smell like, if you go listen, man. Let me tell you, I used to deliver furniture too. That's why I know, some of them smells be a little off. And I know people like, well, bro, how you know some bad dick? I've been in these houses, man, when I was delivering furniture. And I got a cousin that's out there, man, and I said it gotta be a connection. Cause everybody got this sit in their house. But maybe bleach the walls. But
Interesting.
anyway, but let me
Damn, Brian.
boochie
You need to
particles.
sage that room, dog.
Man, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Go ahead, King. What you got on the King? King James.
Careful.
Everybody come in. Hey, don't y'all be having no Brian be chasing Bucci cat rumors on me now. All right? Like, how you know? King, you there, King James?
Yeah, what's up, my brother? What's
Man,
up?
what you got on it, man? Talk to me, man. Talk to me. What you got on the topic, man?
Yeah, I love your standpoint, bro. I'm watching you.
Appreciate it.
I love what you're doing. How you doing? You laying down the truth, and you doing what needs to be done as a chief should do. Okay, so I took the DNA test, right, 2007. So now all this time I've just been, lurking around watching, and they gave me 22% Nigeria. Okay, I'll go with that. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm Nigerian. I got Mali and all the other stuff. Okay, cool. Nigga doing the royalty. You know what I'm saying? He boss hogging it. He got all the African nations. Bule, whatever.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So now I'm looking through the paperwork now. Now I gotta look at the paperwork. I look at documentation, the deeds, the wills, the death certificates, and the marriage license, birth certificate, and everything says America. So now I'm looking for the African. I'm trying to find the African. I gotta find this brother. You know what I mean? Somebody know where this African at. You know what I mean? So now I'm looking through the find my grandmother, Rachel Parker, 1850 Fugitive Slave Act, kidnapped. What the? How? Now go back and I see when Nigeria was founded, 1914.
Hey, King James. I ain't trying to. Hey, you spitting hot fire, but I kind of want to stay on the topic a little bit, brother. Maybe later on we can chop it up. Yeah, because we talk. Oh, you about to turn? Because we talking about Pan-African. Oh, okay. Go ahead. My bad. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay, come on. Let's go ahead. My bad, brother. My bad. Keep going.
Nigeria was founded in 1914, 1965. But my grandmother is kidnapped in 1850 Fugitive Slave Act. How could I be Nigerian?
Facts.
Pan-African. So we finding out that you label me as a Nigerian. So that's classification. Why you got me mixed up with a Nigerian? My people never left America.
Facts. I agree.
So I'm just somebody got to answer that question. So did the Nigerian?
Yeah, fun fact, my dog is also Nigerian, according to those DNA tests.
Africa didn't exist at one point in time. Africa did not exist. It was called the Afri people. So who's African? Who is these people calling African? Find me an African from 1800. Find me an African from 1400 to 1800. They was calling them Negro terrorists. They were Negro terrorists first. So where was the African at? Who was the African? Then you snatch King James and them people up and you put them in bondage. So who's these individuals?
I agree, man.
Who giving you this 30 pieces? Who giving you this 30 pieces of silver to sell us out?
Hey, King James, but I got a question for you.
I'll land on that one.
I don't want you to land. Why Pan-Africans condone African Bambaataa behavior towards children?
Oh, they part of the get down. You can't shame the master. You can't shame the master. You have to go along with what the master say, or you get ostracized.
I agree.
Jim Jones theory, the Jim Jones.
Yeah. Afrika Bambaataa had all the men. He had the men bring little boys to Afrika Bambaataa, teenagers, all this shit, man. So yeah, man, I do agree, man. You ain't Nigeria. I'm happy you ain't Nigeria, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, King. I'm happy you're not Nigeria.
You see his ex-boyfriend Hassan Campbell.
Who? Oh yeah, we were just talking about her son. But hold that thought for me, Pen. Let me get one more person in. Then I'm gonna have an open panel, okay? And reason why I don't want to go too much in on her son, because her son was a child at that time. Well, he was a teenager at that time.
Right.
And that's why I'm always careful with that. You know what I'm saying? Like saying that he was Afrika Bambaataa's butt boy or whatever like that, or so his suck toy or whatever. I'm real careful on that because he was a kid at the end of the day.
Bro.
I always want to be careful about that because I would never, even if it was a girl, I would never do a girl like that. So I ain't gonna most definitely not do a boy like that. But I get what you're saying, though. Trust me. If we was
Yeah, I
offline or
mean,
something.
I just say this: if you were 17 years old, brother, you gonna go to that house?
Well, hold on. Let me say this. Me and Ken and Fadi just talked about this. And Candace just talked about this. You know, I might not. I will not. I know I will not. You might not. But there are impressionable young men out here that don't have nobody to look up to or don't know any better. Because you got to think. Look at right now. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna be honest. Hold on 1 second, King. I'm gonna tell you something right now. What's going on right now? There are men right now. If I'm a nigga with some motherfucking money, there will be men right now grabbing my motherfucking nuts. I could put $100 on the bed right now and a nigga will spread his butt cheek for some money. Niggas, I never seen no shit like this, how men would act for money. Or men just want to be around another man because this man got money. I remember at one point in time, just because you got money don't mean you was a man. But now you see men being like groupies now. Men be standing for niggas now. You get what I'm saying? So just imagine how a young teenage boy see a man with all this popularity. Everybody like him. He got this gang called the Zulu Dudes and shit like that. There are young boys that can be finessed into that. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story that I'm gonna let Young go right quick. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. Rico, you up here, Rico? My brother Rico up here. He from Jackson. Hold on, Rico gonna know exactly what I'm talking. If Rico's up here, or if there's anybody from Jackson, Mississippi, just say something. Or from Mississippi, period. Okay, Rico. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying, Rico. Frank M. I ain't gonna say his last name, but you know what I'm talking about. Frank M. used to have all the young dope boys, teenage dope boys, in his mansion. And Frank was doing the food to them little boys over there. And these were teenage, thugged out kids that were getting plucked in their booty cat during that time. And those kids was manipulated. Those kids was taken advantage of because their mom, dad was on drugs or they didn't have a mother and father and stuff like that. So that's why I'm real careful on that. I ain't fussing at you either, Pet. I'm just talking to the crowd of people. Yeah, dope boys on the west side. Yeah. Rico know what I'm talking about. Rico know. I'm gonna say Frank M, but he was our mayor at one point in time. But anyway, what's up, Young? You're so beautiful. Cause I'm always careful with topics like this. I'm always careful because there's people watching, maybe people on the panel that might have been essayed as a kid, and I just want to make sure I'm always mindful of the words that I say when it comes to a subject like this. What's up, Young? How you doing, baby? Young, are you there? Maybe she didn't mean to come up. Young, you're so beautiful. My bad. You're so beautiful. My nut.
Young.
Yeah. You're so beautiful.
Brian, what's up, man?
Man, why you talking to me like that? Why you talking to me in your sultry voice, dog?
What was this African above me?
I don't know, but he talked to me in a sultry voice. And yeah, man, I don't know why the African men always got this voice. Hey Brian, how you doing? Yeah, Brian. Now, even women don't even talk to me like that. That would piss me off. The women don't even come up. You're fave. I mean, you're so beautiful. You there? You're so beautiful. Are you there? You're so beautiful. Are you there? She might be beautiful too. Let me see how she looks. Yeah, she is beautiful. Yeah, she is beautiful.
You went ahead and made
she is beautiful. Yeah, I want to make sure she wasn't. She is beautiful. What you got on the Friday?
Me?
Oh, you just up here. Okay, what about your African friend?
I dropped and I hit.
Oh, okay. The guy that just came up, what you got on it? And after he speak, I'm gonna let everybody have an open panel because I'm finna order me some lunch.
Hey, what's up, man?
Man, why you stop? Hold on. Yeah, man, listen, man. Listen. What's his name? Candace or somebody. Can't see his name. Like and follow to be. Like, if I don't even want to call you like, I'm just gonna call you.
What's the word?
Yeah, man. Stop talking to me in your sultry voice. What's going on? What brings you up here, man? And where you from?
Yo, I'm from America, man.
Why are you talking so low? Are you laying in the bed?
Nah. Work?
Yeah,
okay.
Yo, bro.
Speak up. I know you're African or Caribbean.
I just want to say, if y'all check my page, you will see these arguments will make you broke. That's all
And
facts.
guess what?
Say, here
Guess
comes the
what?
scam.
If you
Here
keep
Guess
comes the
what?
talking,
scam.
Guess
you will definitely
We
see
have
I
something
don't
for
want
I'm gonna
you.
be broke. After I
I
stop arguing
don't
with you
want to hear
guys,
this.
my whole
I don't want to hear no African shit.
Oh my God.
Hey, it's an open panel, y'all. Everybody can talk. Hey, and when
No.
everybody talk, please give people space to talk. Try not to monologue, y'all. But I think the business bully was trying to speak, or anybody trying to speak. Make sure y'all keep in mind other people want to speak too. I'm finna mute up, come and order some food.
Tap the screen though, guys,
Oh
because
yeah.
it's only
Tap the
like
screen. Yeah, tap the screen before I go. I
50-50.
got you. I got it, Candace. You just do it when I ain't here. I got you, baby. See, Candace, I'll rule you, Candace. I own you,
Oh, shut
Candace.
the fuck
I'ma find you a man, Candace.
Hell no, nigga. Calm your
You
ass
gotta
down.
bow down to the patriarchy,
You think you're a
Candace.
Oh, for real?
Pan-African or something,
You gotta
motherfucker?
deal with this toxic masculinity, Candace.
Jesus Christ.
You
Wow.
gotta deal with this red pill talk, Candace.
Oh my
we
god.
go,
Don't
Fada. You
listen to
be
a
quiet,
damn thing
Fada. Even though
Brian
you
says.
married, Fada. Even though
Ignore
you married,
him.
Fada, you gonna have to deal with this
Yes.
shit
Jesus
too,
Christ.
Fada.
Yes.
You gonna
Wow.
deal with this
Well,
misogyny, Fada.
that's what
My
we doing.
Lord.
That's what
That's
happens
not
when
Hey,
what
we
we're
get
Candace,
doing,
married.
but
Internet
there's no
we
stalker.
story at
gonna
all.
find you a man. Hey, y'all, any man.
Oh
Listen,
my
I ain't
God.
gonna do. I ain't gonna
I
do
was
it.
trying to get you some likes,
I
nigga.
know. I'm trying to get you some,
Hallelujah.
baby.
I don't, you think I
See,
have a
I got
problem
two
with that?
married women up here, so I can't do them like that. But listen, I gotta pimp you out, Candace. Put your face on the
Lord.
camera. You need to turn your camera on, Candace, so I can get
I'm not
some
turning on a
points.
damn thing to be
Okay,
your
okay,
pimp. You're
okay.
pimped out.
Hey,
What,
shout out
nigga?
to everybody in the comment section.
People
I
need
love y'all. So there we go. Hold on. Oh no, come on. Let me put you back on, sister. Nah, you don't you start. Nah,
Go ahead, the
I
business. Go
hey,
ahead.
I'm
Pay
finna,
Brian no
uh,
mind. Pay
okay,
his
I
rent.
literally just walked and got
Whatsoever.
my kids from the
Whatsoever.
bus.
okay,
Motherfucker.
it's fine. Yeah, listen
Listen.
here, y'all.
Peace out.
Now,
Yeah, what's
Go
up,
ahead,
y'all? Don't
beautiful
listen to
Candace.
Brian with his bullshit.
let,
Do not listen to him.
let me mute her like an African.
Candace,
Now
you look
listen, y'all.
good,
Thank y'all
girl.
for the likes and gifts.
Jesus.
Thank y'all for everything that y'all do for me,
You're not
man. I
muting me.
humbly appreciate
My
that.
man Candace Fly.
Yeah,
My man Candace
let
Fly.
me.
Body is tea, Candace. I heard
Yeah,
you say body is tea.
Candace taking
Body
too
is
much of
tea.
my time, but listen, cause I'm trying to order something to eat. Now, listen, y'all. Thank y'all for the gifts. Thank y'all for the likes, man. Please help me reach my gift goal. Please gift the panel, man. I got some heavy hitters on the panel. And yeah, get the likes. So y'all make sure y'all do y'all daily heart meets too. I go live, but I like to play music on live. I will put her back, but she ain't getting enough coins, man. Y'all, if y'all want Candace on the front,
If you don't
y'all
stop with
send.
the pimp shit, the fuck?
If I
I
got
need the coins, guys.
that's
Stop singing.
why I had Candace over here so
Get
the
the
niggas
coins.
can come through and drop that bag, man.
So
You know what I'm
lame.
saying? But anyway,
Wow.
I do
and
want to also.
Fadi and Ken married, so I can't fuck with them like this. So I got to deal with the only single nigga gal I got up here. But anyway, y'all got it from here.
Lord
I
have
do want to
mercy.
commend our Black American men. I want to commend you guys for standing in the gap for our young Black boys, doing panels like these, having these conversations, being respectful. Some things we don't have all the knowledge on, and we can just correct each other because, my understanding, because as I said, I stood with Hassan when he first came out. Hassan was younger than 17 when that stuff started. But Brian cleared that up and made a very good point. Even 17-year-old young boys are impressionable. And unfortunately, sometimes money does drive the conversation. And a very interesting point about Bambaataa is he was wealthy. Bambaataa was pretty well off. And he was probably the only person in the Zulu nation that had the type of money that he had. And a lot of things that people did to support him or be next to him had a lot to do with his wealth, and his status and his connections and his resources and his name and as I think either Fadi or Candace said, all of these tributes that are being done to him with the knowledge that he was probably one of the greatest boy predators in the hip hop industry. And I don't know if we discussed this, but he is also not Black American.
That part.
That part,
That part.
Again,
we got
tethers need to listen. Tethers need to be accountable for their own situation, and the other part of that is, thank God I was not essayed by any men. But when I was a kid, I did not have a choice as to when I lost my. You understand what I'm saying to you? My innocence, because
Yeah.
it's the babysitter. But in our community, for some reason, we celebrate that like that's an accomplishment, and it's like, nah, it's sick. But
Thank you
again,
for saying that. Oh my God.
Yes.
Thank you so
Yes.
much for saying that. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Go
no, you
ahead.
good? No. But I mean, like for me, it was like even when I was on the Breakfast Club and I talked about it years ago, and Charlamagne was like, "Yeah, man, I just because that happened to me when I was a kid because I got some head," and I'm like, "Bro, like physical response to stimuli is not consent, and when you a little boy, like it's sick, but everybody looks at that like it's okay, and those cases get so unreported, and we focus on the little boys that are." Assaulted by men, but we don't ever look at the babysitters, the older cousins, the sick aunties, the neighborhood mothers, all that type of stuff. And it's just like we got to be a little bit more cognizant, and we got to start wrapping our arms and our eyeballs around our boys because they are literally being attacked from all sides and nobody's willing to talk about it in a real way. You know what I'm saying? And like the damage that does. And then you wonder why some of these boys grow up to be men who are pookies or hypersexual or, womanizers and things of that nature. And a lot of that comes to that unresolved trauma. Yeah, I mean, so that's it. That's all I have to say about
What
that.
that come
It was
to
the
In
candy
business,
lady in my neighborhood. Just something to say that it's so true. She was the sweetest thing, and she would always give out like freeze cups and stuff. But the boys would go in there and they would be like, going through
man
puberty and
up.
stuff, and she would do things to them and touch them in very bad ways. But it came out, and she ended up getting in trouble for it. But you're absolutely right. It's just the aunts, and it's not just exclusive to men on that.
You
Yeah.
and
you
it's
gotta ask this
heartbreaking.
question. You gotta
It's
ask this
The
heartbreaking.
question
moral
though.
breakdown. Wouldn't that be a moral breakdown?
Yeah, yeah.
I
You gotta
just
ask
think
this. You
I
gotta ask
go
this.
ahead, Patty, and then I'll answer.
I just want to say you gotta ask this question though with Bam Booty. Um, how is he able to
Man, booty.
get away with this for so long? This dude probably been doing this stuff since the '70s.
He
And
has,
But
Petty. He
Donald
has.
Trump told you how you get away with it when he was on that bus with Billy Bush. He's when you're famous, you can do anything. I mean, how did Eddie Long get away with it? How Jamal Bryant get away with it? Like, I mean, like, nah. How Chris Jenner get away? Oops, never mind. Um,
yeah, this dude literally
You're right, Petty. He's
little
been doing it since the
boys.
70s.
To
And I
the
go ahead, sorry, Petty.
yeah.
Go.
No.
The
I was just saying
business I want
no.
to speak to
That's what I'm
you.
saying. He been doing this since the '70s, and he has ties to the other predator, Dr. York. They was
Quasem
boys. A
said it.
lot of people don't know that. Huh?
Quasem said it in the comments. He's a gatekeeper. He was a gatekeeper. He was protected.
Yeah.
He was another Epstein type. Definitely, we York thing was, I don't know. They probably messed with the boys too, but
Hold on,
York
hold on.
was
But
well known with the girls.
the thing is, who took his
Well,
place?
no, yeah, York had boys too. And the way that I know this is because my parents was a part of that community.
Okay.
I was born in that community.
Okay. Okay. So you would know.
Luckily, I didn't go through what some of the other dudes my age group went through. But one of his, York's wife, her son, he had been messing with that dude since he was 4 years old.
Oh my gosh. So this is
Yeah.
what I want to say to the business and to any Black American man or young adult who can hear the sound of my voice. My apologies to you are never going to take away what happened to you, right? But I think I can stand in the gap as a woman, as an elder in the community. I think I can speak for Candace. I think I can speak for Fadi. I think I can speak for many Black American women who has protected children, who do protect young boys specifically and girls. And I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry that you went through that. And I will pray for your healing and that, you just know that it's a part of your story, but it's not your story. It's not, you're not a victim, you are a victor. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. You didn't do anything wrong for someone to violate you as a child. You did not deserve that. And unfortunately, we have monsters amongst us. We have sick people amongst us, and we have people who turn their eye to some because they're so. Sometimes our parents and our family are so caught up in their own thing that they're not even seeing what's happening to us. So I just want to apologize that you went through that. And like I said, my apology won't cover someone else's actions, but just so that you know, you are so worthy, you are so valued, you are so loved, And I hope you can use your story as an empowerment to save someone else or help someone else or be there for someone else. Because our boys are still, unfortunately, being ignored, being maligned, being abused. My dad went through that. My dad could not, because he was a very powerful man and he was a very good father, and he was super protective of us as girls. I mean, super protective. And we just thought, okay, that's just what dads do. But it was because he had been subjected to that by a family member. And my dad never, ever would have ever told us that story. It came out once he passed away. He would have never wanted us to know he went through that, you know. But I
Can I say
could
something?
look back, let me say this quickly and I'm going to land. I could look back and see all the different challenges my dad had and all the pains he suffered. And I could see it started with that molestation as a young child, as a young boy.
Also, I just want to add a tidbit. I was saying to the business, I'm glad he said that because I know a lot of men at the time when we had some of these conversations. Some of them wasn't men. We were still kids, just talking, teenage, whatever. And they would say, they got their virginity taken at a very, very young age by somebody who was either the same age or they were most of the time older than them. And for me, I feel like it was definitely a manipulation as well. It was not just some, oh yeah, that's a badge. No, it wasn't. Because they knew better. Y'all were kids, like that was so inappropriate. But something too that's not touched on is that hurt people hurt people. A lot of these people who did certain things I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it like this. I don't agree with Dr. Umar on a lot of things, but I do agree with him when he says that a lot of people who are predators are also victims themselves.
True.
And I don't think people
It's true.
really dive into the fact that they were victims first before they became a predator.
Say something. Can I say something? All right. To the kids and to the ones that's out there that's been going through something as such as this, don't be afraid to say something, and don't be afraid to do something. And if you can't tell nobody, tell your friends or somebody close to you, and y'all make a plan to tear his ass up, beat the brakes off of him. And
Amen.
Nobody. I just want to say to the comment. What I just said was not an excuse. That it's not an excuse because at the certain, when you're adult, you know what the heck you're doing. No one is excusing the things they were doing. I was talking about when somebody is like 17 years old and they're teaching somebody else or doing something to somebody else who's like 9 years old, 10, 12 years old, or even younger. Like that's what I'm talking about. That teenager was a victim before they became XYZ. It's not excusing what happened because what happened is still wrong.
Yeah, I think it's more so pattern recognition. And so it's not
Yes.
even like it's indifferent
Yes.
to interpretation on that. It's just pattern recognition. And this is typically what happens when folks are abused underage because they're kind of groomed into that. And it's really fucked up, So it's not making an excuse to the person in the comments.
Nah, it's basically it's a mental illness, and this dude Bambaataa, man, ain't no telling how many people's kids this dude done that to, and they gonna celebrate this guy. This is one of the sickest human beings on the planet. Now that's why I meet him with disrespect, and if I could, I pour acid on his grave. You sick son of a gun, but people. I think some people don't know his background and all the weirdo stuff that he's been doing over the years, and giving this person a pass. So it's like, nah, he don't deserve no pass. He shouldn't be celebrated. Honestly, his grave need to be burned to ash and disassembled because he don't deserve no type of respect. From our community, what he did to all these little young boys, and you can see by the people that he was being around. Bambaataa hanging out with this Dr. York guy, it's obvious. Like, weirdos hang out in groups. They support each other. That you see that little hat that Bambaataa wearing? That's from Dr. York. That's
Wow.
yeah. These little weirdos, they was hanging out with each other. All the weirdos that like kids and stuff. That's what they do. It's a community, and you see Dr. York went down. 200 and something years. In prison for touching on kids. So him and Bambaataa being cool is no surprise. It's actually no surprise. And, like I said, Bambaataa doesn't deserve to be celebrated. He doesn't deserve to be remembered. He's a stain in the community. And honestly, the Bronx, the people in the Bronx, they should stand up against that. They should not allow him to be celebrated in the Bronx at all.
I agree. Let me let the fairy glam mother. How you doing? How you doing, the fairy glam mother?
I'm good. I'm first off, ding dong, the witch is dead. Okay. And then number two, I remember when this story first broke a few years ago, amongst the rap community, because they were finally talking about it and how he had affected a few of the rappers as they were coming in. But it's so hard to feel sympathy for men like him. Only because you took the innocence of so many people, right? And it caused a ripple effect that's still being felt to this very day. Because it caused a culture around hip hop music that affected our young Black American men who were also going through the same thing at the same time. And it just, like, I can't even put it into words that won't get this live banned, but I'm definitely not mourning. Definitely not mourning this whatsoever. And like the previous commenter said, I really hope that the community decides to stand up and start talking about this, as they did previously a few years ago. I hope this opens up a bigger conversation, not only amongst the community of the Bronx, but the hip hop community as well, because he was terrorizing everybody. And because we have to start putting light to the darkness. If we want things to change, we have to start speaking about them and holding these people accountable. And we cannot do that as long as they feel shame. And there is no shame in somebody taking. You shouldn't feel shamed because somebody robbed you of your dignity. You should feel angry. It is a shameful act, but you are not of shame. So it's hard not. I'm trying not to
I want
cuss.
to ask you a question when you're done too.
No, you can go ahead because I'm trying not to cuss.
So you see, we have people like Chill Seville, like people like that in the comments who support pedos, right? So let me ask you a question, because it sounds like you have something a little bit deeper that you're not saying. What makes you believe the stories of what I consider to be the victims? Because you have so many people who will say, well, there's no paperwork. I mean, if they would just go scratch the surface a little, they would find the truth, right? What makes you believe these young men?
Well, I live in New Jersey and I am what's called music adjacent. I know a lot of people that are in the industry. I'm right next to New York. And then, like I said, this stuff spilled into the culture of men. And then on top of that, because a lot of my friends that are in the industry talk about the sub level of the industry that nobody really talks about. You know what I'm saying? I was not shocked when a certain somebody just recently left their courtroom escapades and their things got put onto the grand scheme, and that's because there's a subculture of that going on in the music industry. It's tolerated because it's normalized, because it's accepted, because it is what it is, you know. And that's what made me believe them no sooner as they cracked their face, because just the over machoism that is the basis of hip hop just gives way to it. It gives way to it. You know, it's only so much carrying on before you have to understand that there's a lot of hurt coming up out of people. You know, so it's more of a lived experience from people also being abused and passing that abuse along, and it's very prevalent in the background, and they really don't talk about it. So I'll just leave that, because I
I'm gonna
saw
say
these
something.
comments and I'm not paying him no
I'm
attention.
gonna say this too, to the point of when people say he's not convicted and things like that, right? There are a lot of predators, and I'm gonna use some. I ain't gonna use an example, but I'm gonna say this: you see a lot of women that been through SA, that been R-worded, that been molested and things like that. And a lot of the predators that have done that did not go to jail. So just because a person hasn't been convicted doesn't mean that person is not guilty. Okay. And we got to stop that. We got to really stop that. Now, as a black man, am I real careful with men being accused of R-wording women or essaying women? You goddamn right I am. But if a woman comes to me and tells me that something has happened to her and has it affected her, I'm going to believe her just as I will believe a man that has been molested or touched on and that something happened to them. I will believe them. There are a lot of family members that's still alive right now, still sitting at that took over your grandma's house, that done touched on some kids, and he's still free. This person is still free and has not did anything. So just because nobody get convicted doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Because there's a lot of people that have, I'm going to use some trigger words, I'm sorry. Just because there are people that have killed people and got off on it, and they really did it, but they never got convicted. But the motherfuckers still killers. So we got to stop that. And Chillville, I understand you as a man, you know, you see a lot of men get falsely accused. You know, it's a small percentage of men getting falsely accused. But I understand that, because I feel that too. I get agitated and upset when I see that. But I also get agitated and upset when I see people that were victims of people that have R-worded them, sexually assaulted them, molested them as young kids, all this shit. So that does affect me also. Because once again, like I always tell people, I used to work for CPS from 2008 to 2010. So I worked there for like 2 years almost 2 years. But anyway, I seen a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? So I will always have a heart for people that have been victimized. And I'm always listening to people that tell me their stories. Some of it might sound crazy. Some of them might not sound unbelievable. Who am I to say it's not true? And especially for men to come out and say that they've been touched on or somebody played in their ass and stuff like that, I will believe them.
You don't get accused of that by a lot of people and it not be true.
There you go.
Thousands.
You know, I mean, it just like, come on, man. Like, we just gotta keep it a buck, man. You know, people
And I
like
think
this
we
dude
have
in the
to
comments.
understand why Bambaataa also didn't get convicted and didn't get brought to the carpet. I'm gonna keep pushing, and this is specifically for people like Chill and Cool T in the comments. We understand that people don't care about young Black boys. We know that. That's why we're here today having this conversation, because we actually do care, right? Thousands of people have been connected to this essay ring he had going on, and hundreds of boys in Bronx, the name is escaping me, that projects there that he touched have come out. Bronx River. Okay, so we understand that people don't care about young Black boys. We got that. Scratch the surface, you'll get the evidence. Here's the difference between, someone brought up the point of Dr. York and Bambaataa. What Dr. York did, he did in and amongst his community and to his community. He was not connected to Epstein. He was not connected to Clinton. He was not as well connected as, say, a Bambaataa. And so just the same like a Nature Boy. And so they'll get away, but they won't get far. But the difference with Chillville, stop being lazy and go do the work. The difference with Bambaataa is, again, he was
mute him if you don't want to come up and explain. Mute him after coming, because I don't feel like dealing with all this shit.
The difference with Bambaataa is he was allegedly funneling boys into Studio 54 to those very wealthy white executive men as far back as the late 70s and 80s. This man was a gatekeeper and he was protected. Go look it up right now. He has a library of his music at Cornell. I bet
you're going deep, sister.
Most black, okay, Petty, because Petty knows, most black Americans probably don't know that Bambaataa, not Jay-Z, not this one, not that one, maybe Jay-Z does, but Bambaataa has a library of his music at Cornell. Okay, this man is a lot more connected than what people realize, because he was so underground, and he was underground and quiet because of his crimes against children.
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. You know, and my mom told me this. And she she was in the Dr. York community or whatever. But she told me, York, when he used to chill around the people in his office, he used to tell them stories about all the people that were rainbow in Hollywood. And she didn't understand how he knew all this information, and it come find out a lot of it was true, because these dudes was connected to the entertainment industry. Bambaataa, York, probably Bambaataa probably was York's connection to it,
right.
But
because York came out of Bushwick. He came out of Bushwick, Brooklyn, with them. I don't know if you remember, they had them colorful houses out there in a section of Bushwick. They had all these houses that they painted like pink and green and yellow. And again, to Brian's point,
what you talk about.
You know what I'm talking about, right? To Brian's point earlier, how did they how did we in New York deal with people like that? We dealt with them, not being funny, like we dealt with the Tethers. We kind of ignored them because it was like a little weird kind of thing, like all these people living in these colorful houses. And apparently he allegedly, and Petty, you can correct me, he got chased up out of Brooklyn for the essay of young girls, and he took and ran down to Georgia and started that compound, and it's
true. It's true.
Okay.
It is true.
So I ain't up here lying.
Them dudes in Brooklyn was on his head, and that's why he left New York.
That's why I commend my Black American men, and I'm going to stay commending my Black American men. I'm not saying our men don't do stuff. They do. They're human. They do, and they. But I'm saying for the ones that stand up, they need the support, because you're standing up for these young Black boys who are coming up behind you, and they chased York up out of Brooklyn. Black American men chased him out of Brooklyn, and he ran down to Georgia.
And Bambaataa was his buddy. That was his homeboy. You know what I mean? So, a lot of people just don't know the truth about a lot of this stuff. That there's a big connection. Like I said, there's a trafficking connection when it comes to these young children and these entertainers. Certain entertainers. Since the Epstein stuff came out, and even some of the stuff with Diddy came out, people will see that there's an underground world where these people like Bambaataa and people like that are trafficking people to other people that they would never have reached to these kids because they don't go to those neighborhoods, but because of certain people that's connected to certain neighborhoods, they can get access to certain types of kids. This is real stuff. It's nasty. It's disgusting.
And because they're young Black boys who they deem as poor, they see them as having no value. And when I tried to campaign to get the Attorney General to bring a case against Bambaataa, I saw with my own eyes, it broke my heart. I'm like, yo, they really don't care. Because if I was Erin Brockovich bringing a case against the Catholic Church, I would have a whole movie about me right now. But I'm just some Black woman from New York bringing a case against Bambaataa, and they was like, shut up, itch. Nobody cares. So when I saw Brian's panel today, I jumped my ass up here because somebody does care.
Yeah, it's crazy. This stuff go deep. That's why nobody should be protecting Bambaataa. Actually, the last case that he had was a Puerto Rican dude that he had gave drugs to, and the dude was unconscious, and Bambaataa was messing in the dude's pants when he was knocked out, and the dude woke up and spazzed out on Bambaataa.
Is that the one that poked him?
Yeah, stabbed
Okay.
him.
Yeah, poked him up. Poked him up. Yeah.
Poked him up. Yeah, he poked him up.
Yep.
Yeah, that recently happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
came
that's
out
I was just about
after.
to say. I was just about to say that was probably like what caused the catalyst of rappers speaking out, and it was a few rappers speaking out. And Bambaataa never came back and never denied it, never nothing. In fact,
No.
it was like he had disappeared. I thought he was already in the grave.
It was after the Hassan and Ronald Savage accusations too. So it's like it didn't stop. He never stopped. Even after these people came out and said, this is what this man did to me. And not for nothing, people laugh at the Hebrew Israelites and stuff, but it was the Hebrew Israelite men that called Bambaataa to the floor. Like, you need to come and you need to answer these accusations. We want you here at 125th Street at 12 o'clock noon in front of the black media to answer what these boys are saying. And Bambaataa took his ass to Lisa Evers and did an interview with her, you guys can go look this stuff up. Did a 20-minute interview with her. She might be asked him one question about it, and that was it. And then the next thing was this story about this boy poking him up.
Damn.
Yeah, and that was recent years. Like that's not even that long ago. He was at his age, he was still on the prowl for dudes.
And was probably still on the prowl after that.
Just imagine how many more.
Yeah,
that's why I'm glad they changed the law and said for some states, if not all the states, they're gonna start giving them the guillotine or castrating them for predator crimes.
And Fadi, this thing goes so deep. This goes so deep. Do y'all know that Child X Act that just recently came out, where people could go back and bring their accusers to court, which is the act that Cassie used against Diddy? Do y'all know that act that I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I think you had a year to do it or something like that.
Yeah, and every year they keep opening it up. This Bambaataa case is the reason that act exists. People don't realize, because the people that he touched went to this legislation and were part of the fight to remove that statute of limitation. Yeah, it's civil at this point over study. Yeah, it's civil, but you can still sue and get whatever you can get out of it.
Honestly, I think the only reason why ain't nobody really got Bambaataa up out of here. They didn't get Bambaataa up out of here before. And my homeboy told me this because he used to be a part of the Zulu Nation. Is Bambaataa is connected to some real street dudes that that really get busy. So this is the reason why he had so much protection. He had protection around him. It is what it is. He did.
You got some people that didn't care about that either. They just didn't want to get mixed in with their bullshit. You know what I mean? A lot of jokers go back, and it's just like, it's crazy, man. This whole situation is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane, the people that protect this guy, knowing all the cases.
And even all the people. Sorry, even Housing in the comment is saying Housing is from New York. And Housing is saying, I'm presuming he's talking about Bucci Cat. He's saying he's known to play with it. So the real people are speaking on the real situation, especially the people from New York that's been hearing this stuff forever.
We didn't play like that in New Jersey. We didn't play those games. We tear your ass up quick for that shit. Beat the shoes off.
That's the problem though. Bambaataa was surrounded by some wolves, so he really wasn't going to get touched.
I remember we chased the Polo Club out of Newark, New Jersey. They came over there with all that old hoopla. It's a long run back to Penn Station. Now get on out of here.
I wish I would have caught him.
People forget this too. People forget this too. That Bambaataa, he comes from actual, GANG, in New York. I forgot what they were called.
Yeah, then we had
But
him over here too.
the spades, the black spades, he's connected to them people. That he was running the spades in his area in New York. So this dude always had street ties, and then he got industry ties. So yeah.
See, but all that comes from Bumpy. You got to remember who was over there first. Who's running the scene over there first? So now, whoever plugged that spot up when he lost that spot, the age brackets. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Bumpy was in Harlem. Bambaataa was up in the Bronx.
Right. So if
Bambaataa definitely didn't take Bumpy's because those guys like that. That was
y'all.
the eventual
I don't mean to cut y'all off.
and
I don't mean to cut y'all off, but they finna end my live. So listen, I'm gonna give everybody a chance to get their last words in, because it was because of me though, y'all, because I was saying some wording. But I'm gonna let y'all get y'all last word in, man. If y'all can make it quick.
You on me?
Yeah, that's on me. It wasn't y'all, it was me.
Brian ready to go. Brian like I'm.
I know they got me, man. They keep sending me restrictions, so this is my third one. So if I get one more, they're gonna end it. But I do want y'all to get y'all last word.
Let's just go ahead.
Hey, AP, you got too much energy over here.
Yeah, I love
Make your submission quick so we can end it before they take his whole page.
Yeah.
All I can say is thank you, Brian, and I have a lot of respect for you that I already had, but it's even deeper because I'm seeing a lot of people support this man, and you really the only one I saw today stand on this. So thank you.
Much love, love you, Ken B. Shout out to Ken B. Make sure y'all follow. Anybody else got any last words, right quick?
Shout out to you, bro. I definitely respect how you.
I can't hear you, Ped. What you say, Ped? Go, Ped.
No, I respect how you doing your panel and everything, and that you spoke on this, because at the end of the day, ain't nobody else really, ain't too many people speaking on this, the real history of Bambaataa. So I respect it, bro.
Hey, I appreciate you coming up, man, and educating us on what's going on with it, and you seeing firsthand and knowing people that was around. Anybody got something else to say?
If I don't see you no more, I don't speak no more, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm behind.
Much love to you, King. Much love to everyone. Shout out to Fadi and Candace, my moderator. Shout out to my moderators in the comments. I appreciate it, y'all, man. That's on me. I ain't want to use no TikTok friendly language on this one, man. I want us to be raw and uncut. And if they're gonna take the live down, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Because certain things have to be said. Certain things have to be I already said it. Yeah, certain things have to be said. So, but yeah, we good though, y'all. Much love to everyone. I thank y'all once again for the gifts. I thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Candace and Fadi, for helping me maintain the live like always. I love you both. And I see y'all later, man. I might go live later on or something. We're gonna chop it up, talk about these funky flip-flop wearing Africans. But anyway, y'all be safe. I love y'all.
When my heart was heavy, when my mind was tired, you walked into my shadows with a quiet fire. Brian Jehovah, you are the truth. Every word you speak cuts straight through. Brian Jehovah, carving my youth into something real, something new. Brian Jehovah, you are the truth. When the lies were louder than the voice inside,